like I said, I'm proud of our team. Like, we battled, we fought. It wasn't pretty, but, we were right there. I think we cut it to 8 there with a few minutes to go in the
Caitlin Clark's playoff debut was one of the most anticipated moments of the WNBA postseason, but her first appearance under the bright lights didn't go as anyone expected. The Indiana Fever were outmatched by a dominant Connecticut Sun team, falling 93-67 in a blowout loss in Game 1 of their first-round playoff series. Clark, who has dazzled fans all season with her offensive prowess, found herself shut down by Connecticut's stifling defense. She finished the night with 11 points on 4 of 15 shooting, including 2 of 11 from three-point range. For a player who has thrived all season, carrying her team to their first playoff berth since 2016, this was a challenging night to say the least. The Fever now face elimination heading into Game 2. From the opening tip, it was clear that the Sun had a game plan: make life difficult for Caitlin Clark. Connecticut's defensive intensity, led by Dejanai Carrington and Alyssa Thomas, was relentless. They denied Clark space to operate, forcing her into tough contested shots from the perimeter. Clark thrives when she can attack the basket and create for her teammates, but the Sun took away those driving lanes and she couldn't find her usual rhythm. Clark missed her first 8 three-point attempts before finally knocking one down in the third quarter. By then, however, the damage was done and Connecticut had already built a commanding lead. Adding to Clark's struggles was a physical hit she took to the eye early in the game, which clearly affected her performance. Though she stayed in the game and continued to battle, it was evident that she was out of sorts. Despite her best efforts to stay aggressive and lead her team, the shots simply weren't falling. After the game, Clark remained optimistic, acknowledging that some shots just didn't go her way, but maintaining her confidence moving forward. It's that mindset that has made Clark a standout player all season. Her ability to bounce back from adversity and continue pushing forward. While Clark struggled, Marina Mabre was thriving for the Sun. Mabre came off the bench and delivered a playoff career-high 27 points, including 20 in the second half. She set a WNBA playoff record for points off the bench and was the main offensive spark for Connecticut. Every time the Fever tried to cut into the lead, Mabre responded with a big shot, particularly from beyond the arc. Her shooting performance was nothing short of spectacular and was one of the main reasons the Sun were able to pull away. Then there was Alyssa Thomas, Connecticut's star and the glue that holds the team together. Thomas recorded another triple-double, finishing with 12 points, 13 assists, and 10 rebounds. This was her 4th career postseason triple-double, setting a WNBA record. Thomas controlled the game in every facet, whether it was setting up her teammates, grabbing rebounds, or locking down defensively. Her all-around performance ensured that the Fever never had a chance to find their footing. Thomas's ability to impact the game in so many ways is a big reason why the Sun are considered one of the top contenders this season. So what exactly went wrong for Caitlin Clark and the Fever in Game 1? First, it's clear that Connecticut's defense was designed specifically to neutralize Clark. They rotated multiple defenders onto her, switched aggressively, and double-teamed her frequently. Clark thrives when she has space to operate, but the Suns' defense gave her no breathing room. The physicality of the Suns' defenders, especially Dejanai Carrington, made it difficult for Clark to get off clean shots, and when she did, they weren't falling. For a player who is used to dominating games with her shooting and playmaking, it was a frustrating night. Beyond the individual struggles of Clark, the Fever as a team looked out of sync offensively. Indiana scored just 67 points, a season low, and struggled to generate any consistent offense. They managed just 12 points in the fourth quarter, as the Suns' defense clamped down even further. Kelsey Mitchell, who has been one of the Fever's top scoring threats all season, had a quiet night, finishing with 13 points on 4 of 11 shooting. Aaliyah Boston, another key piece for the Fever, was also held in check, finishing with just 9 points and 6 rebounds. Without their stars producing, the Fever were unable to keep up with Connecticut's firepower. One of the key issues for the Fever was the lack of ball movement. Too often, Indiana's offense became stagnant, with players relying on isolation plays or forcing contested shots. The Fever need to do a better job of moving the ball and creating open looks for their shooters, especially Clark. Connecticut's defense thrives on disrupting passing lanes and forcing teams into one-on-one situations, and Indiana fell into that trap. For Game 2, the Fever will need to make some significant adjustments to free up Clark and get their offense flowing more smoothly. Another factor that contributed to Indiana's struggles was the pace of the game. Caitlin Clark is at her best when she's able to push the ball in transition and play at a fast pace. But Connecticut controlled the tempo, forcing Indiana into half-court sets and limiting their transition opportunities. Without the ability to play fast, the Fever couldn't get into their rhythm, and Clark was forced to take tough shots late in the shot clock. If the Fever want to extend this series to a decisive Game 3, they'll need to find ways to speed up the game and get out in transition. Defensively, the Fever also have plenty of room for improvement. Connecticut's offense was firing on all cylinders, particularly in the second half when Mabry caught fire. Indiana will need to do a better job of containing Connecticut's shooters and limiting second chance opportunities. The Fever were out-rebounded and struggled to contest shots, allowing the Sun to get too many easy looks. If they can tighten up defensively and force Connecticut into tougher shots, they'll have a much better chance of keeping the game close. As the Fever prepare for Game 2, they know that their season is on the line. This is a do-or-die situation, and all eyes will be on Caitlin Clark to see how she responds. Clark has faced adversity before, and she has always bounced back stronger. We've seen her rise to the occasion in big moments throughout her career, and now she has the opportunity to prove that she can perform when it matters most. The key for Clark will be finding ways to adjust to Connecticut's defense, getting her teammates involved, and staying aggressive. It's worth mentioning that this isn't the first time Clark has faced adversity in a high-stakes situation. Back in her college days at Iowa, Clark consistently showed up in big games, often carrying her team deep into the NCAA tournament. In fact, her ability to rise to the occasion on the biggest stage is one of the reasons she was such a coveted prospect entering the WNBA. She's no stranger to pressure, and this could be the moment where she shows everyone just how resilient she is. But it won't be easy. Connecticut's defense has already shown they have a blueprint for stopping her, and she'll need to make serious adjustments if the Fever are going to have a chance in Game 2. The Fever's coaching staff will also need to make some key adjustments. They'll need to run more plays to get Clark open looks, whether through off-ball screens, pick and rolls, or quick transitions. The Sun will undoubtedly come out with the same defensive intensity, but if Indiana can adjust their offensive strategy, they'll be in a better position to succeed. Head coach Christy Sides has her work cut out for her, but there's no doubt she'll be looking to make the necessary changes to free up her star player. At this point, the pressure is on, and the next game will define whether the Fever's playoff run continues or ends early. A loss in Game 2 would mean the end of the road for Indiana, but a win could swing the momentum back in their favor heading into a potential Game 3. For Clark, this is an opportunity to prove that she can bounce back from a tough performance and lead her team when they need her most. If she can adjust to Connecticut's defense, find her shooting rhythm, and involve her teammates, there's no reason the Fever can't turn this series around. WNBA fans, what do you think? Can Caitlin Clark carry the Fever to a playoff upset in Game 2, or will Connecticut's defense be too much for her to overcome again? There's no doubt that Clark will need to put on a much better performance if Indiana hopes to extend their season. The Sun have shown they're a tough, well-rounded team, but with Clark's ability to bounce back, Game 2 could tell a very different story. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button if you're excited to see what happens in Game 2, and make sure to subscribe for more WNBA updates. We'll be following Caitlin Clark's playoff journey closely, and you won't want to miss any of the action. Thanks for watching, and get ready, because Game 2 could be Caitlin Clark's chance for redemption.